Hey team, I'm Sharif with Vigilant EHS Solutions, a leading provider of safety consultants for the film, television, and entertainment industry. We've gotten some requests to break down California's Senate Bill 132, particularly Section 3, Part 13, Safety in Motion Picture Productions. This video is important for any production who will be taking part in the California Film and Television Tax Credit Program after July 1st, 2025. This tax credit program was just expanded through legislation to include more opportunities and more funding. If you need more information on that, check out our review of this bill in another video linked below. Today's presentation will review key components of Senate Bill 132. We'll discuss the pilot program that was established, safety advisor requirements, risk assessments, requirements around the use of firearms and blank rounds, and finally, we'll discuss the final report that needs to be submitted. As we get into this topic, if you have any questions, feel free to comment or reach out. If you're in need of a safety advisor that meets the letter and the spirit of the law, Vigilant EHS Solutions is your solution. So let's start from the 30,000-foot level. What is the pilot program that was established? For 5 years, starting July 1st, 2025 until June 30th, 2030, any employer that receives a motion picture tax credit must take part in this program. The Safety on Productions pilot program creates requirements that will be audited by an unnamed third-party entity for effectiveness after the 5-year period. The non-binding recommendations from this third party will be considered, and a determination will be made whether this program becomes permanent and if it's extended to other motion pictures throughout the state. One of the major components to this bill is the requirement to hire or assign a dedicated safety advisor to the production that is exclusive to that motion picture. This is a person who works in tandem with, but independent of performers and crew, and who is not employed for any other role on the production. But you can't hire just anyone as a safety advisor. The safety advisor, as defined by the law, must meet certain criteria. First, they must have their OSHA 30-hour training for general industry. Secondly, they must have at least one of the following work experiences. At least 2 years experience primarily performing safety-related work in the entertainment industry as a department head, foreperson, or in a production safety position within motion pictures. B, at least 500 verifiable days in another crew position in motion picture production, so long as they possess an appropriate breadth of specialist knowledge, experience, and expertise aimed at minimizing risks to both performers and crew. C, 5 or more years of safety-related work where safety was a primary role and responsibility in another industry, so long as they possess an appropriate breadth of specialist knowledge, experience, and expertise aimed at minimizing risks to workers and the public. The third mandate is that they must complete a joint labor and management training on industry protocols, state and federal law, and safety practices in motion picture production. This training has been offered by Contract Services, or CSATF. If a safety advisor does not meet all of this criteria, they do not meet the letter of the law. The safety advisor is meant to help manage the requirements of the law and is responsible for submitting the final report to the state. The safety advisor will have access and opportunity to inspect all aspects of the production. They'll participate in daily safety meetings and have the autonomy to determine which worksite they report to if there are activities taking place in multiple locations. This is a vital part of the law, and if the safety advisor does not meet the criteria, fail to perform the necessary work, or does not submit the final report in a timely manner, you risk missing out on the incentive. We mentioned that the safety advisor needs to have experience in minimizing risk. A written practice of this would be risk assessments. SB 132 requires that risk assessments be made for each production. It defines this as a detailed written review of a script and production plan. Specifically, if you look at Section 9152.5, it expands on this requirement, stating that there will be a more general risk assessment outlining a script and production plan to mitigate hazards to employees, as well as a specific risk assessment for high-risk activities or situations. A specific risk assessment shall be performed for the use of the following: firearms, major pyrotechnics and explosives, major stunts, process shop moves or process trailer work, aircraft or trains, vehicles off-road, watercraft in open water and for individuals underwater for prolonged periods, and lastly, work weeks of more than 60 hours. A safety advisor shall have the authority to determine if and when a specific risk assessment is needed for additional topics, as identified by the safety advisor. These risk assessments must be written and accessible by electronic transmission upon request to performers, crew, and labor organization representatives. Check out our channel or website for more information on risk assessments. When it comes to firearms, SB 132 transforms certain existing industry guidelines outlined in CSATF Safety Bulletin No. 1 into law. These requirements include the hiring of a qualified and licensed property master, armorer, or assistant property master to maintain custody and control of firearms. It memorializes the importance of sufficient staffing, daily safety meetings, and redefines the term ammunition. It also mandates training for those handling or in proximity of firearms for the use of motion pictures. This includes the CSATF Firearm Safety Course for the entertainment industry or an equivalent training as determined by the Industry-Wide Labor Management Safety Committee. If you need access to either the CSATF Firearms course or an equivalent, reach out to us and we can help you out. Now, we've talked in depth about SB 132 and the requirements, but you cannot forget the last step, the final report. Within 60 days following the completion of filming activities, the safety advisor shall provide the final safety evaluation report to the Industry-Wide Labor Management Safety Committee and the California Film Commission. If you do not submit the final report, you are not in compliance of the law and again risk your incentive. A trained safety advisor will have access to the standardized report, which ultimately summarizes the production and confirms its compliance to the law. All final reports after the 5-year program will be assessed to determine the effectiveness of the pilot program. In an effort to provide a safe and healthy workplace, proactively plan for safety, and ensure safe handling of firearms and motion pictures, SB 132 is a powerful tool. We hope that you found this information helpful. Now, we also understand that it's a lot, so if you need a safety partner with a proven track record in the motion picture industry, reach out to Vigilant EHS and we'd love to help offer you the solutions that you need. If you'd like to see us discuss any other specific topics, please comment or reach out. Thank you for your time and we'll see you on set.